I wanted to pop on today and get started with more videos. Last week I was not feeling great. No, it wasn't the big C word, but I definitely had a really not so fun cough. And my brain was just not working. So I'm back today. I still have a little bit of a raw throat, so excuse my voice. But I wanted to come on and do my live videos again for you this week because I have missed all of you and there's lots to share. So, today I want to talk a little bit about body tightness for babies. So, baby body tightness. And as you know, I am sort of the holistic baby guru. So, I talk a lot about babies in general in the first 2 years. We talk about what is biologically normal infant sleep. We talk about baby reflux. We talk about baby body tightness. We talk about baby development and so much more in between. So today we are talking about baby body tightness. So what is it and why it happens and how it happens as well. And I'm going to be running a challenge inside my free group, the Sleep Deprived Mamas group on Facebook or community on Facebook. And so I'll be running a challenge on resolving baby body tightness this month as well in a few weeks. So it'll be after Easter. If you want to come and join that, feel free. The link will be in the comments of this video. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about babies and how in the world they would even get body tightness, because it's not like they're doing a lot of moving. But usually what I see, and I see a lot of babies that have various things that are tight. Maybe their tongue is being held down because they've got a lot of tightness in the front of their body. And that can sometimes act like a tongue tie or a tethered oral tissue, but it's actually coming from the rest of their body. Sometimes I see babies with other tightness in their cheeks. Sometimes you'll see the babies that have the tilts in their neck, so torticollis, which is due to tightness as well, usually one-sided tightness for that, but often torticollis actually is coming from the hips. Because the thing is that everything is connected. We have fascia running over all of our muscles from the top of our head to the tip of our toe. And it's literally just interconnected fascia. And so when that fascia is tight, then that can also pull muscles into sort of different alignment and different it can cause tight muscles as well, because if everything is kind of compressed, then that's how things can get tight. So if you think about babies and they are, squished in utero, my baby's a little big for, well, maybe not big for in utero, but anyway, they're squished in utero and initially they're really small, so they can float around, they can swim, they're doing kind of these movements and they're kicking and they're moving their bodies and all of this stuff. And that's great because that's what we want. We want our babies to be moving when they're in utero. Eventually, they get to a point where they're so big that they can't move so much anymore. And then they're essentially ready to be eventually born. But sometimes what can happen is that if you've got lower amniotic fluid, they're not moving as much potentially. Sometimes they can get stuck under, let's say, your ribs. Maybe they're stuck under your ribs in some weird position and they can't necessarily move as much as they might normally move. Or maybe they're just stuck in one position and their head they're kind of twisted or, kind of torqued in a strange position for a few weeks. And they can't seem to figure out how to get out of that. Maybe they've been engaged in your pelvis for a really long time before birth. Or maybe you had a very long labor and they kind of got stuck. And, maybe they had interventions coming out, either a vacuum or forceps or something to pull them out, or even hands to turn them in utero before delivery or to help guide them out. All of those things can put a lot of pressure and stress onto our babies, onto the fascia, but also onto their structures, right? So if you think about the vacuum, if you kind of put the bulb of the vacuum here and then you pull out, you're essentially pulling baby by their head. You're going to have probably quite a bit of sort of trauma, small t trauma, I could say, in their neck, in their back, all of this fascia surrounding everything, right? Because they had to be pulled out. Maybe they got stuck and they had to really pull their arms or dislodge their arms, or they're coming out from their feet or whatnot. And so you can see that there are lots of opportunities for babies to get stuck in one position for a long time, which can cause tightness, and or have various things that kind of traction their muscles, their joints as well, but also that fascia. And that can cause a lot of body tightness and also potentially pain. So think about yourself if you have, that knot in your shoulder where you like slept wrong, or you went to pick something up and you kind of tweaked something, right? And you can feel that spot quite prominently, and you're very irritated by it, and you're just thinking about it all the time, and you're like trying to rub it, trying to massage out the kinks. Babies have the same thing, and I think that we forget about the fact that babies and children can also get these kinks in their body, these tight spots in their body. And this is why sometimes they can, lead to things like arching away, not wanting to be held, crying all of the time, pushing away when feeding because they're just not comfortable. Or maybe we're holding them in a way that's actually irritating some of that body tightness. And that tightness can be anywhere in their body. It could be in their neck, it could be in their shoulders, it could be in their diaphragm, it could be in their hips, it could be anywhere. And so, one of the things that I want you to really start looking at is initially when your baby is born, they're going to be in that kind of fetal position, all scrunched up. But babies are actually meant to be pretty loosey goosey. So, you should be able to kind of like, raise their arms overhead, do like knees to belly and straighten them out. You should be able to do that pretty easily with your baby. And if you can't, if there is sort of some restriction or some stuckness, then your baby has body tightness. They should really be able to sort of be moved in all sorts of different positions. Think to yourself those newborn baby pictures, okay? They've been put into all sorts of little contraptions with their feet up and their heads like this and all of that. That's because those babies are so loose that they can be easily moldable. But if your baby has any body tightness, they're not going to have those cute little newborn pictures because they're not going to actually be able to get into those positions, and they're not going to be comfortable in those positions. And the thing is that a lot of times baby body tightness can lead to things like difficulties with feeding, but also difficulties with other motor milestones. So maybe they don't like to be in tummy time. They don't like to lift their head, or they can't lift it very well, or they can't, they just can't get comfortable on their tummies for various reasons because they're just so tight. Maybe they've got digestive things going on because they're just so scrunched up and everything is tight around their belly, around their respiratory diaphragm. And so there's lots of different things that this can affect. Your tight baby is probably not going to meet their milestones in sort of that range, that sort of average range. So if there's any tightness, then they might not roll. Maybe they'll only roll to one side and not the other. Maybe they're only looking to one side and not the other. And we really want the head turning to be to both sides, okay? And so you really want to be sort of testing your body or your baby, your body too, but you want to test your baby to see if your baby has any body tightness going on. And I'm not going to go into the details here, but I am going to be running a challenge inside my Sleep Deprived Mamas group on Facebook. So please come and join us there. That will be after Easter. So please come and join us there. And we're going to talk all about how to really sort of assess your baby for body tightness, and also some exercises that you can start doing to help resolve some of this body tightness as well. If you need support before then, I do have all of that in my Holistic Baby Development course, along with a bunch of other fun things to help your baby's development. So you can just get in touch with me, or you can go to www.kylieetz.com and check it out there. That is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you're going to go and really start looking at your baby and feeling them to see if there is any body tightness for them. And please let me know if you have any questions.